Welcome to the Women's MTV Network podcast. My name is Mia, and I'm your host. This is the show where we celebrate the women of mountain biking, riders, racers, mechanics, industry leaders, and community builders. We dive into stories, challenges, and triumphs, shaping women's mountain biking, breaking down barriers, and making sure women are seen and heard on the trails and beyond. Whether you're a seasoned shredder or just getting started, this is your space to connect, learn, and get stoked on all things mountain bike. We're stoked to have you. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Women's MTB Network podcast, everyone. This is the space where we highlight the folks changing the face of mountain biking from the trail to the industry. Today, back on the pod, I'm joined by the one and only Lindsey Richter, founder of Ladies AllRide and longtime leader in women's MTB space. If you've been listening to us for a while, you might remember our first conversation where we talked about how Ladies AllRide got started, Lindsey's mission on how to use bikes as a tool for empowerment, and all things of how she's been in the industry for close to 20 plus years, but we'll let her get into that in a little bit. This time, we're catching up on everything she's building now, from how her coaching business is expanding to new places and new faces, to the retreat experiences she's creating that go even deeper than skills clinics, goes to some beautiful places around the world as well. It's an exciting next chapter for a brand that's helped thousands of women connect to their bikes and to themselves. And Lindsey's just getting started, folks. I'm excited to have her back, so let's get into it. Hey, Lindsey, how are you?
Hey, Mia, what a nice intro. Thank you.
I mean, you're one of my favorite people ever, especially in this industry. Honestly, you have influenced so many of us from just getting started to actually building a coaching business. You know, we were just talking about that a second ago.
Yeah, thanks.
So welcome back. Thank you. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me again. I love that I've been on twice now. You're just out there kicking butt. It's been really cool to see your growth. I remember the phone call we had when you asked me, like, what do you think I should name it? And I was like, Women's Mountain Bike Network. Keep it basic. Keep it so everybody knows what you are.
And I do. I remember that phone call.
That was
you
awesome.
were honestly the first person I talked to about this. You really were the first person I talked to about this.
Wow. Thank you. Well, that's flattering.
I'm honored to call you a friend and a colleague, honestly. So I'm stoked to have you back because you've got some really exciting things in the works. Things are changing up a little bit with Ladies AllRide here. And I wanted to just touch base a little bit. How long have you been doing the Ladies AllRide camps?
Yeah, officially the camps have been running for 12 years now.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I started coaching back in like 2006, 2007. That's when I learned through actually what was called the Dirt series. A woman named Candace Shadley out of Canada had started something in 2001. And when I started realizing that there's technique involved in mountain biking, I heard about her camps. So I went and I volunteered at one, and it just blew my mind. And then I took a PMBIA course up in Canada and was like, no way, this is actually a thing. And so that was in 2007. I got certified in 2010 and then started coaching full time, just throwing myself into it right around 2010, 2011. And then I met my business partner, Meredith, who had also started some women's mountain bike lessons in Bend called Grit Clinics. And it's funny because I had just been coaching all over the country with all kinds of different organizations. And somebody locally here in Bend said, oh, have you met Meredith? She also does this. I'm like, someone else here does this? And we went out to lunch and I said, we should partner. And I remember her, she's a business mind and I'm the passionate one. And she's like, I mean, I'm good. I run my thing. You can come coach for us, though. I pay $100 and feel free to come coach. And I was like, oh, well, I have like a name. And she's like, I don't care. Okay. And so I went and just like stood there and coached for her. And I was like, oh, we could do this so much better. I remember her standing there thanking all the sponsors. And she was like holding the pad and she was like, thank you, Smith. Live. And I was like, no, you're not very engaging. And it was funny because after that, I was like, okay, you know how to run this stuff. I know how to bring the energy. We've got to work together. And that's how I convinced her. So Ladies AllRide camps officially started the year of 2015.
That's incredible. That's
Yeah.
incredible. I actually didn't know that little tidbit about how you came on with Meredith for something. Having that partnership's obviously worked. You guys have built some amazing things over the years.
She's amazing. She's a dream come true.
I don't think I've ever met Meredith.
Oh, you need to meet her. Well, it's funny because I actually started in 2012, a woman out of Colorado who was running an event called the Betty Bike Bash.
Yes.
She approached me, and it was me and Rebecca Rush went to the Betty Bike Bash because Rebecca was doing the SRAM Gold Rush tour and she didn't
Mm-hmm.
know anything about coaching. So she was kind of the celebrity going there to have a presence and was doing this women's movement. And she's like, why don't you come with me and you can coach? And I met this woman, Sarah, who now actually works for RockShox, who said, well, I want to do coaching camps. And so we partnered, and it was called Betty AllRide at first, because she was the Betty Bike Bash. And my ex husband and I had created AllRide back in 2000. And so
Right.
we combined forces and created Betty AllRide. And we ran a few events out of Keystone, Colorado, then Sedona in 2013, Angel Fire. And so this woman, Sarah, was kind of my first experience partnering with someone to run camps. But then she got a job with Yeti, and that's when Liv came into my life. And so she
Mm-hmm.
went on to do her thing with Yeti. And that's when I was like, well, wait a minute, I don't want to run events. I want to like coach and be passionate and get more women into the sport, but I need someone to actually do the behind the scenes event planning and organizing that I cannot do. And that's when I went to Meredith and I said, I've already done this with
Yeah.
someone. I know what we need to do. I just need someone to like take the lead. And I tell everyone that I feel like beyond running a business together, I was going through divorce at the time after 15 years. Meredith
Dang.
has become my life partner,
Oh.
has showed me what women can do when they lift each other up and work together. I was always a little hesitant with women, this thing, the Betty All Ride. It was really hard for us to say goodbye to each other when she got Yeti and I was on Live. We were like, no, like we have to break up. And so when I entered in with Meredith, I was kind of like, oh, I hope this works out. We're two women, and to be honest, it is what fueled my passion to prove to women that you find the right combination. You can do anything when you work with a good woman. And Meredith is my freaking rock.
Oh, that's so good to hear. That's
It's
so
really
good to
cool.
hear.
It's really cool.
Is she going to be at Sea Otter next week too? Do I get the
She's
pleasure of meeting her?
not. I mean, she has
Dang it.
kids. I think that's also the beauty of us is we're so different. I'm the
Mm-hmm.
childless, dog mom who can just get up and go. And she's got two kids. So it's been really cool to see the balance and what has to happen for someone who's trying to run a business that actually travels the world and
Yeah.
also be a mom to two kids. Well, she
Yeah.
has a husband,
That's
so let's be
incredible.
real. She's a mom to three kids. No offense, Brig.
No, that's really funny. That's really funny. My brother is actually a dad to three girls, and their dog is also a female dog. But then his
Wow.
wife, Samantha, is like, well, he's just another kid anyway. I'm essentially taking care of like five kids.
Totally, right? Yeah.
Anyway, so I noted, because I always follow what you guys do, that you have some new things coming up, including a really cool gravel coaching. Is that like totally new this year, or have you guys always had gravel in your plan, in your camps?
No, the gravel component is a newer offering. Liv is making great gravel bikes. I feel like gravel is kind of that gateway into mountain biking in a way. It's encouraged a lot of road riders to get off the road.
Yeah.
Maybe someone's had an accident with a car or just has felt a little more fearful of traffic. So I do find that the gravel craze is booming right now, and a
Yeah, it
lot of
is.
people are moving from road bikes to gravel bikes, and we do understand that the gravel riding, it's funny because I'm always like, why is it called gravel riding? To me, I think of like gravel, which is treacherous, but it's
Yeah.
it's off-road riding, it's back roads, it's fire roads and dirt roads, and it's a culmination of different back roads riding, which do
Mm-hmm.
require a lot of different skills than a road bike. So we find that the same skills we teach on a mountain bike, how to be loose, how to balance on your feet, how to have, light hands, heavy feet, how to lift that front wheel, how to maneuver through obstacles, how to spot your line. A lot of
Mhm.
those skills translate into gravel bikes. And even more importantly, because when you don't have suspension and you have dropped bars and you're riding this, like it's a little twitchier bike, to
Yeah.
be able to have those mountain bike skills under your belt, we find translates really well. So just last year, we opened up some gravel spots just to try it out at our Bend camp, and it was super
Mhm.
successful. I think a lot of people who are gravel curious came to see what it was all about. A lot of people who are switching from road to gravel, and mountain bikers who are wanting to move to the gravel bikes just as to learn how to maneuver those different lighter bikes has really worked out great.
That's incredible. Yeah, from I just got a gravel bike literally 3 days ago, and I got one that has a little bit of suspension on it. It's a Cannondale Topstone carbon, I think. I'm probably butchering it, but I needed a
Awesome.
little suspension for, like, my neck. I have some neck issues, so I figured maybe, like, a little 40 mil travel will help. I took it for a real quick spin, and there is quite a learning curve. I'm not gonna lie, because like you said, the bike can be a little bit squirrelier. It's lighter, it's drop bars. Your position is very different than being higher up with your shoulders out, right? Like, and then the shifting is a whole new different thing. And I have a one by, so one side of the shifting doesn't actually work. It's just everything on the right side. But then I have a dropper seat. Like there's another but I swear to God, I called Sierra and I was like, dude, I don't know if I could do this. And she's like, I know, I feel like I'm gonna break the bike if I sit on that thing.
And Sierra's gonna jump off stuff too. She's gonna
Yeah,
hit
I could
jumps
just
on
see
it.
Sierra like, oh, here we go, wheelie. No, but that's incredible that you're doing that because it's really important, especially for folks who are gravel curious, to have an outlet to be like, hey, I want to come and test this out. So are your camps just basically, I'm looking at your website now and I think I see them in Bend. So they're out of Oregon right now.
Yeah, the two gravel camps are in conjunction with our two Bend mountain bike camps. And what's great about that as well is they get the full experience of one of our camps. And, our camps aren't just show up and get a lesson, our camps are all inclusive. We've got demo pads, demo shoes. We have bikes you can demo. We do education stations teaching people how to work on their product, how to set up their suspension. We serve lunch. There's snacks all day. We provide sunscreens. It's an all-inclusive weekend experience. And so we wanted the gravel experience to also come into this community and
Mm-hmm.
feel like they're integrated within the mountain bike scene, because at the end of the day it's all off-road riding. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that a barrier for a lot of people, I even have a friend who I grew up with who just got out of an abusive situation, and she feels very frozen in life right now. She's like, I've been in this situation for 4 years and I just don't know where to start changing my life. And I said, we're doing a mountain bike skills slideshow presentation at a local pub through the Northwest Trail Sisters in Portland in 2 weeks. I want you to start by showing up to that presentation, to just walk in the room and get a feel for all these different people who identify as women who are coming there to find their community. You're not
Yeah.
alone. That's, I think, a big barrier to entry is she's like, well, I don't, she road rides, but I know she's kind of over that. So she's like, I just don't know where to start. And I said, you start by events like ours, where we're bringing you together to help you break that barrier of discomfort and saying, hey, I'm new to this. Who wants to ride with me? I'm insecure. I'm not sure where I fit in. I'm not sure where my skill level is. Am I going to hold you all back? Am I going to be like the weak link? And we're trying to help people understand that none of that matters. We're all trying to find this community where we feel like we fit in. And we're hoping that we're creating this environment just by our own energy where you do feel like you fit in, and that people are there to meet other people because they too are looking for someone to ride with who won't judge them or mind what their pace is. And we hate hearing people say, I won't be able to keep up.
Yep.
Hopefully you're finding a crew of people where that's not even a term you use. It's not about keeping up, it's about sharing the ride. If you're a little bit slower and people are going a bit faster than you, communicate at the beginning of the ride. Like, I might be slower than you. That's okay. Well, wait. Then instead of saying sorry, say thank you. Build those
Yeah.
relationships based on the love of the bike, not how fast you ride it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I learned that a couple years ago riding with some ladies in Sedona, because as you know, Sedona is incredibly technical and a challenging place to ride. It's my favorite place in the world to ride, but you need a certain level of fitness to keep up with the folks that ride there every single day, like Amaranth, for example, who's a complete beast. And
Total
when I
beat.
rode with them, I couldn't keep up on the climbs. I just couldn't. And I kept saying, "Sorry, guys, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And she kind of snapped at me in a good way because she's a good friend. She's like, "Stop saying that. Just say thank you for waiting for me." And I was like, "Thank you guys for waiting for me." So now that's the go-to for everything. It's
Should be
like,
the mantra, right? If someone is training and needs to go fast for a reason, maybe that's not the day to ride with them, right? But if it's a
yeah,
group of people going out for fun, I don't really think many people care. I have a lot of people here in Bend who are like, "Oh, I haven't found anyone to ride with." I said, "Well, I'm home. I'm home for a week. Come ride with me." And actually, just last
yeah.
night at a yoga class, I told this woman who's been to our camps, "I'm in town if you want to ride." And she said, "That's like a chef asking if you want to make me dinner." I was like, "No, it's not. I'm not going to make you dinner. We're going to go pedal our bikes together and be outside and chat about life. I'm not going to ask you to make me dinner. Don't worry."
You know, that habit is hard to break though, because even in the most welcoming spaces, I think the individual needs to really get out of their own head. And it takes a minute for that to happen.
It
And
does.
again, just speaking from experience, I rode with Sierra a few times. She's an incredible rider. She's very fast on the downhill. And it got to a point where I looked at her and I'm like, okay, so I'm not going to go in front of you. And she's like, why not? And I said, well, I don't want you to first blah, blah, blah. And she's like, dude, we're just having a good time. Like, it doesn't matter. Just
Yeah.
go. Forget that I do X, Y, and Z. But it took me 2 days to get out of that headspace. And if I was to ride with you, Lindsay, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to say the same thing. I'd be like, well, why don't you go ahead of me? Because you're
And I'm going to
probably,
say, check your ego. The ego needs to stay out of this equation. And guess what? I love riding behind people because if you want some pointers on things you could do differently or better, or compliments on how well you're doing, people
yeah,
like Sierra and I love that stuff. We love to help people improve. We love to have eyes on so that we can tell you how you're doing. And Sedona is a great example. We have run Sedona camps now for about 14 years, and we used to run them at the beginning of the season. And then for us personally, we're barely getting out of snow season in Bend. So we'd go to Sedona and be like, okay, it's game on here. So then we started running them in the fall. But this year we've moved back to the spring, and we did that intentionally. Like, our camp is on April 19th and 20th. We still have a few spots left. We decided, you know what? Sedona is a great place to kickstart your skills. And while it does require a little bit of fitness, our camps are designed to not let fitness be an inhibitor to your learning. So
mm,
we work on skills in a controlled environment in a grass field. We have all these stunts we use so people can work on the body positioning, work on getting those wheels up, how to move the body up, those more technical features.
yeah,
Then we go out on trail and we play on the trails. We practice those skills going up things. We practice how to make the bike work for us. So it doesn't really require you to be hammering all day at our camps. And I think that's something that we really want to make clear for people, because I do get that message a lot. "Oh, I'm not in shape. I need to train for your camps." And while
yeah,
having a little fitness is good, we're still stopping and sessioning and resting and then starting again. We're not going for the miles, and we're not crushing you physically. We're not choosing trails where you have to climb 2,500 feet before you get to a teachable feature. We're choosing
yeah,
trails where there's technical skills required right out of the gate. And we're here to work on those, not go hammer
right.
out miles, you know?
Yeah, I think that's great, especially because I think, if your goal is to ride in Sedona, a like place, right? Like at least you kind of see where your baseline is. So if you are lacking a
Really.
little bit of fitness for that spot that you want to ride, at least you know where to improve. That's a really good way of looking at it. So
Yeah. And also, like, if you're coming to a place like Sedona, you're a little intimidated, take a camp and then have a few days after the camp to go
yeah,
ride what you just learned. I think that's a lot of what people do with our camps is they look on our website to see where we're going, and they're like, "Oh, Sedona, I've always wanted to ride there, but I'm not sure where I fit." what
Mm-hmm.
trails should I even try to ride? But if you come to a camp first and you get all these skills in your tool belt, then you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to go try Slim Shady today because I just learned a bunch of skills and I know how to ride this particular area, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome. I love that. And it's great. I think you guys starting Sedona in the spring is a really good indicator. Like you said, let's kick off your skills here instead of at the end of the year, right? That's incredible.
Yeah, totally.
Sorry if you can hear my doggo.
Well, that's okay.
He's
I
just gonna
just
go
had to
lay down.
mute myself because someone opened my garage door and my dog barks like a crazy dog. She goes, I was like, oh my God, mute, mute, sorry.
Well, I couldn't hear anything, so don't feel bad
Yeah,
at
because I
all.
muted it because she screams like a child.
She's just protecting her mom.
Totally.
So I wanted to touch on something really cool you guys have coming up. And I don't know if this is new or not, so please correct me if it is. But in the past, you've had retreats like the Baja. You guys go to Baja, Mexico for a retreat. But this year, you have a really cool one in Switzerland, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm hope to come to the next time you offer it. But can you tell us a little bit about the retreats? Like what inspired that addition and how are they a bit different than your traditional camps and clinics?
Totally. Yeah. Great question. Our signature camps are very skills focused, right? You're there to improve your mountain bike skills. You practice skills, you learn a system of I can't jump until I know how to do all these things. People come with very specific goals to our signature camps. They're
Mm-hmm.
2 days, they're pretty intensive coaching, a lot of education, like I said, about how to work on your bike and different things about getting into the bike industry. What we found is a lot of our students would come to a series of camps. People don't come to just one. They come to, let's say, the Bend camp is a great one to come to for cross country skills, to learn more basic skills. Like we do have higher level trails in Bend, but for the most part, Bend is pretty chill. So it's a really good place for newbies to come and just get their bearings on a mountain bike. Then people would look at our schedule and say, oh, well, I already did Bend. Maybe I should try Sedona next, where it's more technical, and go try
Yeah.
those red rock trails. Then they would see there's a downhill camp. Now maybe I should go try my hand at a lift access downhill camp and really hone in on those downhill skills and maybe start learning how to jump and go off some drops, right? So there is a progression that you can do through our camp system. But we were finding that when people had come to 3 or 4 camps, they're like, well, now I just want to ride with you all. And, I'll be honest, we have some really rad people who work on our team. The coaches that we have found over the last 15 years are some of my favorite humans on this planet, Amaranth being one of them. And you just want to ride with someone like Ammo. You have her as a coach, and you're like, man, that'd be really fun to just go shred with you for 2 days. So we were getting the feedback, hey, why don't you do a retreat where we can all just come together and have a little more of an intimate experience, get to know the coaches a little bit better, go ride with each other without the focus on skills as much. So
Mm-hmm.
our We've done a few things over the years. We've gone to France, we've gone to Italy, but we partnered with other companies. Pre-COVID, there was a lot of companies doing these retreat style things where they came to us and said, hey, we run these retreats, these yoga retreats. Would you come and do a mountain bike component of this retreat? So we dabbled in that in Italy, and we were like, we could do this ourselves. This would be sweet to have it just be mountain bike focused and then integrate the yoga and that kind of stuff. So our
Yeah.
first real retreat run by us was in Baja last year, and we found this ranch. We get funding from the Walton Foundation. They fund
Nice.
the Women of Oz out of Northwest Arkansas. They're great. We've been
Yeah.
working in Bentonville for longer than Women of Oz had been around, and when they showed up and started this women's network in Bentonville, we totally partnered together, and they
Yeah.
fund our scholarship program to help us help
Awesome.
women with who have barriers to entry, the BIPOC community, the LGBTQ plus community, women who have hearing issues. We've hired interpreters. So they fund our scholarship program. So we have a really nice relationship with the Women of Oz and the Walton Foundation. And one day someone at the Walton Foundation said, well, you know that one of our family members owns a restorative regenerative ranch in Baja. And
What?
yeah, Christy Walton, we looked into it and oh my gosh, she bought like 30,000 acres in the foothills of Baja, like up in the mountains, where she's created a complete regenerative ranch and she teaches the local community how to save water, how to have cows that graze on the natural land, how to have an
Wow.
ecosystem that cares for itself and farm to table food. They have a full garden. They have their own fish farm. It is
What?
incredible. And we were like, oh, yes, please. Can we go there? And it was our first time last year. So it was kind of an experiment. We kind of went into it blind. We didn't know what we were doing. And we fell so in love with this place and the staff of people they have working there that we were just like, we have to come back. So we went back this year and it was even better. We learned our lesson. People wanted to ride more. So we added more rides. The staff, just everybody fell in love with the staff. Everybody fell in love with each other. We played games. We took salsa dancing lessons. We took a tour of a town and learned the history of the place. And we rode our faces off. And it was incredible. So because of these retreats being a little more, they're 5 days, 5 to 7 days. I knew these two women, the Gehrig sisters, Anita and Caro Gehrig. They're twins from Europe who I met while racing in my racing days. And they randomly reached out one day and said, oh, we just bought this lodge in Switzerland and we run tours and we guide. And we were like, another spot we should go check out. We reached out to them and it seems super affordable. They cook, it's all inclusive. We stay there. They're going to guide us. So, yeah, the retreats are a lot more intimate. Just come with us and ride, but we're also there to help you build your skills. So in Baja, when we'd get to like a burly rock garden, we would stop and say, okay, there's a burly rock garden coming up. Who wants to walk it first? Who wants to talk about the skills required to go down it? So we're
Yeah.
definitely still there to coach you and help you get through stuff as needed, but it's not so
Mm-hmm.
skill heavy. It's more focused on just riding together and enjoying this sport that we all love so much.
That's incredible. I want to go to that. I'm coming next year to Baja. I'm
You
coming. The second
should.
you
I mean,
release your dates, I'm coming.
yeah, and but we're going in blind again with the Switzerland thing, but the Garrick sisters have been amazing sending us GoPro footage of all the trails we're going to be riding. So we have a really good idea what it's going to be like, and it just
Yeah.
looks like fantastic fun riding and then just afternoons to chill and have fun and get to know other mountain
Ugh.
bikers and make lifelong friends.
Yeah, I really want to go. I also noted here that you guys do a bike maintenance course. I'm on the Baja one for like next year. You said dates coming soon. So I just clicked on it to join the wait list. And there's a
Yeah.
bunch of really cool add ons that you guys offer: airport pickup, bike rentals,
Yeah,
afternoon kiteboard. What?
we try to take away the barriers for people who need a bike and don't want to figure out their transportation. Yeah, and the whole kiteboard rentals thing was like, yeah, I mean, if somebody wants to go learn kiteboarding while they're in Baja, they might as well have that option. And working with a ranch like it's called Rancho Cacachilas is the one we use in Baja. They already do this, right? They already set
Got
people
it.
up with hiking tours or mule tours. They do it all. They're an adventure ranch. So that's just another add on that the ranch can help us add as well. So, yeah, we went the maintenance classes. We actually do a couple in the winter where we get online and we have a coach, Diana Allen, who is a mechanic, and we'll do an hour of it's pretty much like how to get your bike ready to come to a Ladies AllRide camp. Because if you signed up for a
Great.
camp, people have been requesting they want to learn more about working on their bikes. They want to learn more about their bikes. And our camps, a lot goes on. The meet and greet is pretty intensive. You're making your nameplates. I do a skills slideshow at the meet and greet to just show everyone kind of what to expect for the weekend. You're getting a lot of information coming at you. So we haven't really found time to fit in a full maintenance class. So we started doing it online where Diana has a bike there and she knows the mechanical terminology. I'm not so mechanical. So I'm the one that's like, let me explain it to you in real terms. Like setting your suspension up, people don't understand compression settings. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a French press. The more coffee grounds you put in, the harder it is to push down. The less coffee grounds you put in, the easier it is to push down. And that's your plus and your minus on your compression settings. Done. So we have those classes online that I think are really helpful for people, teaching them how important it is to clean your chain, how often you should clean
Yeah.
your chain, which is after every single ride. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily about lubing your chain, it's about keeping the dirt off of it. Because I learned this the hard way. Again, I'm the person that will be like, I don't think about this stuff. But one day my bike wasn't shifting very well. And, this was years ago. I took it to the shop and the shop guy was like, "You have the dirtiest chain I've ever seen. And when you have a dirty
No
chain,
way.
it grinds down the teeth, that the chain has holes in it. And these holes have to fit, these teeth have to fit in every hole." That was a good visual. Sorry. That's what you
For
get with
those
Ladies
watching.
AllRide.
For those
Sometimes we're
watching.
inappropriate. Sorry.
No, I didn't think of
Oh,
it that way, but okay.
that's where my brain goes. Sorry. So, right, the teeth have to get into these holes, okay? And if the teeth are dirty, you can't get into the hole. Okay. See what I'm saying? Sometimes we go
I
a
mean,
little
it's
too.
great information. I mean, you're describing exactly how it is.
Totally, totally. So things like that. We're helping people understand what's important to take care of your bike, what you can do on your own that you don't have to pay a shop for. If you keep your chain clean, you're keeping your drivetrain working. And it's a lot less expensive to replace a chain than it is to replace your entire cog set. And
Yep.
I learned that the hard way. I had to replace the entire cog set because my dirty chain ground all those teeth down and ruined it. So a lot of
No.
people just don't know this stuff. When do I service my seat dropper? How do I deal with my brakes when they're coming all the way to the lever? And that's the beauty of being sponsored by like SRAM and RockShox. We get all this education from them so that we can pass it on in a way that people can understand. I've been to RockShox classes where they show you the internals of a fork, and I'm like, that's
I
so
don't
cool,
know.
but I've no idea how that all works. But I can teach you how to set it up so it feels good for you using coffee ground analogy.
I love that coffee ground analogy. Honestly, I had never even thought about it. And now, like, having the visual of the coffee grounds going down, like how you're actually like doing the French press type thing, like that clicks. That for me, that just clicked.
No. And that's how I am. I need it to click. And that's how we coach at Ladies AllRide as well, is that we help people really like put it together. We have a coach, Erica, who's one of my favorite coaches I've in the world. It's who I got my start with. We actually went and got certified together almost 20 years ago. And she has the most incredible analogies that I'm like, oh my God, I gotta write that down. I call them Erica isms. But just little things where you can talk about angulation and twisting. But if I just tell you to wipe your butt on the berm, things like that click. The boobs over the bars, like, oh, I get it. My boobs literally, or whatever you have, pecs, padding. Some
Whatever.
people,
Yeah.
yeah. So, it's like, oh, I need to be that far forward. I get it. So I think that's the whole goal for us has been to make learning fun and less intimidating, whether it's working on your bike or working on your skills. It should be fun. This is a fun sport. And I think a lot of people enter into it a little intimidated. And we've created this system and this series of events where mountain biking and learning about your bike, because it is empowering to feel like I can go on a ride by myself and have my chain break or my derailleur stop shifting or my brakes
Yep.
suddenly are doing something weird. And I have the understanding to at least know the basics in what's going on. And that sort
Yeah.
of takes the intimidation factor out. So it's not such an intimidating sport to get into.
I love that so much. I actually saw a post yesterday on Facebook on some group about someone asking for feedback on your camps. Like, hey, has anyone been? I'm considering you're going, but I'm intimidated to go. Literally, I saw that yesterday. And I didn't want to say anything because I wanted to see like the comments back, but it was really good to see women talking about exactly what you just said. It's a welcoming environment. You're not pressured to have to ride 15 miles and be out of breath. Like you don't expect that from folks. The expectation is you're going to teach them how to do things on the bike, right? How to skills, maintenance. And I loved seeing that because it's exactly what you're telling me. And
It's
getting that
awesome.
feedback from people that are not, it's a raw feedback, right? It's a review that's raw for folks. And I loved seeing that so much.
That means a lot. Someone who experienced it. Yeah.
Exactly. And that goes a long way because it's word of mouth. That's like the best form of marketing you can get, right? It's word of
Yeah.
mouth from people. So thing I do want to ask though, because e-bikes are becoming increasingly popular and some places like Sedona don't yet allow e-bikes for whatever Forest Service reasons. And good luck getting anything passed now through this administration. But Do you guys welcome e-bikes at your camps? And if so, is it just in locations where they are accepted?
That's a really great question because I actually got into it a little bit on Facebook the other day because someone asked if e-bikes were allowed at the Sedona camp. And I had to
Mm,
say no because the Forest Service truly does
yes.
not allow them. And I had a gentleman, it's usually of the male
Yes.
gender, who get on there and argue with me. And a man got on there and said, they don't regulate, they don't patrol it. Even some of the rangers ride e bikes. The woman was kind of like, oh, really? Well, then why can't I bring my e bike? And I was like, I sent him a private message and I said, hey, we purchase permits to run our camps. We're a commercial operation taking money to use Forest Service land. We have to pay for that. And we go by the we do everything by the book. We buy our permits. We have $1 million insurance policy that requires us to follow rules. And if we break those rules under our permit, we lose our permit. So you're making it sound like we're just being jerks and saying, no, you can't bring an e bike, even though if they don't patrol and they don't enforce it, that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. We can't
Mm-hmm.
run a commercial operation and allow e-bikes. Joanna can't allow e-bikes. Ammo can't allow e-bikes. Anyone who has a permit to run tours or guided operations or coaching on Forest Service land or BLM land where e-bikes are not allowed, we cannot allow them. With that
Mm-hmm.
said, e-bikes are becoming increasingly more popular. Liv
Yes.
makes a great lineup of e-bikes. They're getting lighter, they're holding charges
Yep.
longer. I'm new to e-biking. I'm running some lessons at Sea Otter actually. Come join us at Sea Otter.
Oh, nice. I didn't
Yeah,
know
you can
that.
demo a Liv e-bike and then we'll take you out. And I have another coach with me, and Sierra will also be with us. And we will
That's
teach
right.
you the difference in how to maneuver with an e-bike because it is a little different. You have to keep yourself a little more forward up climbs because it can surge away from you. Ratcheting through technical rock gardens, there's a little lag, so you have to do things a little earlier. You used to have to put your seat down a little bit to climb up techie stuff because it was so fast that it kind of bounced you off your seat. But RockShox just came out with a new dropper seat post that actually has
They
a
did.
little suspension in it so you don't get bounced
Yeah.
off your e-bike. So anyway, my point is e-bikes are becoming popular. I do think they are the wave of the future, and there's going to be a lot more e-bike offerings that are more affordable and lighter coming down the road. So we do allow e-bikes at the places that allow e-bikes on their trails. Bentonville,
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas, for example,
Mm-hmm.
allows e-bikes. Bring your e-bike to Bentonville. Hood River, our Hood River, Oregon camp allows e-bikes. Bring your bike there. We're going to Mountain Bike Oregon, down in Oak Ridge, Oregon, where all those trails allow e-bikes. So my advice, if you want to learn how to ride your e-bike better and learn skills that are a little more, I'd say people will say, "Oh, climbing e-bikes is so much easier." I'm like, when it gets bumpy and rocky and there's big
And
chunky
steep.
and it's steep, you have to
Yep.
know how that e-bike works under you. It's a little bit like a motorcycle where it surges and it can throw you into the back seat really easily. And you have to be a little more diligent at bringing your chest forward. So I'll just yell things at you like, more boobs, more bars, boobs, bars.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
I
so
mean,
we're stoked on e-bikes. I mean, I've even said, well, if I need to leave the United States for a little while and go hang out in Europe for a few years and run e-bike lessons, I could do that. I could do that because they allow them all over Europe. So like our Switzerland camp, no problem. E-bikes are allowed.
mm-hmm.
I would say the other downfall with e-bikes is they're very hard to travel with. You can't fly with them.
You can't
So
unless you take the battery out. And so what I've seen a friend of mine do, he took his e-bike to Bentonville from California, but he took the battery out and it was a YT bike. And so they have a
okay,
YT mill there and he contacted them and they just put a battery in his bike. That's how he
okay,
was able to fly. So
yeah.
hopefully I think I've seen something like that on the internet recently that someone said they're starting to do that. Some companies are starting to do that.
I would think they would have to because they're hard to travel with. They're hard to ship.
Yeah.
Really the only way to travel with them, at least in the past, has been to
Yeah,
drive
yeah,
them.
exactly. Like I think I'm going to attend Rome in September and I'm going to have to bring an e-bike for me. For me, like with some of these increasing injuries that I have, e-bikes is just becoming something that I need.
Right.
Especially for continuing to be able to ride. I have like an hour and a half to ride. If I have an e-bike, I can lap and lap and lap, right? It's a timing thing, but you're absolutely right. Being that I started to demo a bunch of e-bikes, and I noticed from the first time I rode one that the skills and the handling of it is completely different. And then I don't think I told you this. So today I'm taking my regular bike out. My wife even said to me, she goes, "You're gonna have to relearn how to ride that analog now that you've been on e-bikes for a
Yeah,
year and a
totally.
half,"
Yeah.
you know? And I
You're
took
like,
it for
why
a
isn't
quick
it
spin.
flying uphill?
Exactly. But not only that, like I took it for a quick spin and I just did a little downhill and I was like, "Oh shit, the rear end is so much lighter than on a regular bike, on an e-bike," right? Like I had to like what's the word I'm looking for? Consciously change and think about my skills and what I was doing because I'm so used to running an e-bike.
And I
So
love
yeah,
that
it's
because
great.
it keeps it exciting, right? That's another
Yes.
thing I love about mountain biking is right now I'm helping Live promote their Peak, which is their small travel, more of a cross country. A lot of the racers will ride that bike, and I go from that bike to my bigger travel bike. And just
Yeah.
that difference in learning how to
Yes.
absorb more on the little bike, and it pings around a bit more, but man, does it climb differently. I don't have to get as forward for the climbs.
Yeah.
Same with an e-bike. One of my first lessons on the e-bike was learning how easily I can pop the rear tire because it's
Yeah.
heavier underneath. And I tend, when you're learning how to mountain bike, you learn how to press in with your feet a lot and pump the trail and,
Mhm.
give the bike feedback from yourself so that you're more one with the bike. And my first time on an e-bike, I was like, wham! I think I just popped the rear tire. Or, you have to absorb a little more and stay a little bit lighter underneath you because the e-bike carries more weight lower to the ground. And so
Yeah.
I find it very fun to coach people on different bikes, whether it's a light cross country bike versus a more enduro, bigger bike versus an e bike. There's all these little nuances that are really fun to help people see that just switching bikes can require a little different understanding. And then it keeps you fresh. It keeps you constantly like thinking about your skills and on your toes. And I love that. Mountain
Yeah,
biking can never
100%.
get boring. I really feel like you can never tap out with mountain biking and you can never perfect it, which is so beautiful because as we age, we should keep doing things that challenge us, and mountain
Yes.
biking is always going to challenge you. Just go ride a harder trail and be challenged.
That's true. Or a harder trail on a different bike and be challenged, right? We're
Totally.
seeing like we're trying to cover way more of cross country riding now too, because people always think mountain biking is downhill and jumps and gravity and all this stuff. And it's a really fun part of mountain biking for sure. But only a certain percentage of folks ride rampage and do big lips and do all
Right.
of that, right? So now that cross country is really coming to the forefront and XXC and XCO, people are realizing that that's just as intense, if not more. The endurance level is way different, and you still are riding super technical terrain.
Absolutely. As someone who started riding in the 90s, I rode a fully rigid with cages that held my foot in, which I couldn't get out of.
Well,
I
that's
bet
scary.
I know I'm part of that generation that graduated from a rigid to a front suspension and then, oh, a rear suspension. Well, that's going to be heavy if I put a rear suspension on. And it's funny because that you say that. I love my Live. It is my small cross country bike, 120 mil in the front, 100 in the back. And I love coaching on it because it's so nimble, it's so light, it does all the things really well. And I was in Sedona 2 years ago and I had just got a new Peak and I was all pumped to take it to Sedona. But as you know, Sedona's quite chunky.
Yeah, it
And
is.
I was like, it's cool. I'm going to coach on it. I'm not going to go on any big hammer rides. Well, then my friend Joanna invited us out to go ride Highline just for fun. And here I am on my little,
Nothing.
I call it my baby bike. And we're at this part that's called the chute that has these chunky downs. And I had actually never ridden it. Even on a bigger bike, I'd always been a little intimidated by that section. But when you're with
My God.
someone who lives there, like Ammo or Joanna, someone who rides it all the time and
Yeah.
coaches it, whatever, she talked me down that chute on my baby bike. I have it on video and I'm bottoming out the suspension and I was so scared and I did it and was like, this bike is sick. Like it may be little, but it is capable. And so I want people to know you don't have to go buy a massive travel bike that feels clunky when you ride like Bend, Oregon. You can still get a really capable cross country bike for the trails that you ride most. And then if you go somewhere like Sedona, my bike, it was fine. I bent my arms a little bit more and it felt a little more jarring, but it still got down it. And I rode a line I'd never ridden on a smaller bike because I had the
Yeah.
skills. Skills over speed. Skills help you understand how to ride any kind of bike.
That's a really, really good point that I always tell people, skills over speed. Like there's something to be said about riding slow and controlled. That's how you know you're going to improve your skill is if you can do a section slow and controlled. Every single time I go down this section of this trail that I ride, I have Amaranth in the back of my head because that's what she taught me. He's like, yeah, you can go fast. It's super fun, right?
Totally.
But slow and controlled. Can you do it slow and controlled? Can you modulate your brakes? Can you stick your heels down and make sure that your body positioning is good? And so you're right. It doesn't matter if you ride this peak. I think one of my friends, Emma, did a review on this bike too. And it looks sick. Like the new color of this bike too looks beautiful.
Oh,
This
it's got
peak.
like
I
a
hope to see it at
gold
Sea
ribbon.
Otter.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
beautiful. I was like, I need to get this thing like protective wrapped because I don't want to
Yes.
ding it. It's like my bling bike. I don't wear any jewelry, and I'm like, but my bike's got like gold on it. It's got like rings.
It's got like ring. I
We're
hope
just
to see
making
it at
some
Sea Otter next
speed
week.
bikes. Yeah, I'll have
They
it there.
really
It's
are.
beautiful. They're
They
beautiful.
had a new gravel bike that I think I wanted to see. I want to see. I was messaging the amazing ladies at Live for Sea Otter to see this new gravel bike they got in that has like I can't even describe it. It's like a chameleon color or something. I don't know. I'm just really stoked to see all the new stuff that they are coming out with this
Yeah,
year.
they're doing great, great stuff.
We have actually talked about a lot of really amazing things. I don't want to keep you too much, but I
Yeah,
do have a few
thank
more
you.
questions for you, Lindsay.
Okay.
What okay, hold on. I'm trying to get my question because I have so many questions for you, and I think we touched so much already that we're on my question.
Oh, I love talking to you. I could talk to you all day.
What is one thing that you are really excited about for this year's schedule? Is there a particular camp that you're like really looking forward to? I know you probably look forward to all, but is there one that's like you're like, yes, this is the one I'm pumped.
It's funny because I get that question a lot. Where's your favorite place to coach? Where's your favorite place to ride? And I truly love it all. I love it all. I get excited for each location. The downhill camps I really enjoy because I think a lot of people are unsure about lift accessed riding. And we
Mm-hmm.
go to Whitefish, Montana and Grand Targhee, Wyoming. And
Yep.
when you can get on a chairlift and rest in between learning things and then bomb the same trail a few times in a row, you really start to feel it come together. Everybody wants to learn how to corner. Cornering is a lifelong journey. Flat corners, bermed corners, weird corners, tight corners. Going to a downhill camp, they build great corners, learning how to lean with the bike, learning how to lean the bike away from you. I love coaching at these downhill camps because I think it blows people's minds. They're like, I don't know, I've never ridden a chairlift with my bike. That seems like I'm supposed to be going off massive jumps and drops and doing all this gnarly
Yeah.
stuff that I see online. While I'm so pumped that women got into Rampage, I've been a part of this industry for 20 something years. I've watched that whole thing happen. But now people are coming to us like, you're not going to make us like chuck off that thing, are you? And we also have people come to us and say, I want to learn to tail whip. And I'm like, do you know what a tail whip is? I don't think you know what you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about. My
Yep.
ex-husband used to do that stuff. That's really hard. um, we're like, no, we're not going to teach you to tail whip, but we will teach you how to learn jumping. We teach you how to learn jumping, not necessarily huck your meat, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the downhill camps, I think, blow people's minds because they finally, you can go to cross country camp and you're going to learn all the skills. And we're going to ride a trail and we're going to repeat a section a few times, but you're also pedaling. And if you want to repeat that section, you most likely have to climb back up. And it can be tiring. And after a week long of learning, you're like, okay, maybe I don't want to climb back up to do that. Those 10 corners again. But at a downhill camp, you're like, okay, this time on this run, we're going to work on 2-1 none braking. And you're going to put, both brakes on as you enter. You're going to release the front brake in the middle and release the rear as you exit. And we're going to practice that on all these corners. And then we're going to go back up. And now we're going to practice really leaning with the bike and where our eyes are scanning. Right? Because I think the problem with learning mountain biking is it's intense. There's a lot.
Yeah.
there's a lot of little skills that add up to the big maneuvers. And everybody wants to do the big maneuvers. I want to jump, I want to drop, I want to corner. Well, learning those little skills, balancing on the feet, how to move my feet in a corner, how much weight should be in my hands, where should my hips be, where should my chest be. Those are the skills you need to practice that add up to those joyous maneuvers that we all want to do. So when you come
Yeah.
to a downhill camp, you're just like, I got it. I felt it. Those last two corners were amazing. And that
It all
just
comes together.
it all just seems to come together in a way that I think people don't expect, because the downhill camps are not just like black diamond, come on, you got this. They're like, no, we're still progressing you at a pace that feels good so that you can
Yeah,
just like baby steps in. And then when you have those aha moments and you get to go back up and do it again and every corner feels good, you're just like the minds are blown. So a long
I
answer to
love
your
that.
question, I do enjoy the downhill camps because I feel like it's a fun surprise that people are nervous and then they're like, oh my gosh, downhill camps are great. And a lot of people can bring their families too, because their partners can go out if they have kids. Their partners can go ride the chairlifts with the kids, and it's just a great place for everybody to come. Or if you have a partner that doesn't want to take the camp but wants to go ride, they can ride the chairlifts all day and see their
Yeah.
partner learning and cheer them on. And they're just cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's another one. I think the Whitefish, Montana is definitely one I would want to come to at some point. I think all of them, honestly, Lindsay, you guys go to
Just
some
come to all of
amazing
them.
locations. I'll go and come to all of them.
Thanks. And
So
we're
we're gonna
mixing it
do,
up. We're mixing it up.
yeah,
We're trying to
well,
find new locations and go new places all the time. I think we didn't go to Vermont this year, which we got a lot of feedback that people were bummed. But honestly, I'm not sure what's happening right now in the world. I feel like there could be a recession. It's a little scary. And the cost of traveling across the country, I have a van, I pull a trailer. My trailer axle broke last year. It popped my tires on my trailer. Like things people don't fully understand the magnitude of what goes in behind the scenes. I mean, we've been in the
yeah,
garage for 2 days straight, 6 hours a day, packing all of our awesome sponsor prizes and goodie bags and loading the trailer. And the trailer has to be loaded evenly. We have live demo bikes. Getting that van and trailer all the way across the country. We used to go to Florida, North Carolina, Vermont. We just can't, Massachusetts, and we loved all those East Coast camps, but we can't afford it right now. We can't afford the
yeah.
inflation of getting ourselves out there. So we are looking at more venues and mixing it up and finding new locations that will excite people.
Well, that actually was going to be my last question for you because I have some rapid fire questions here, and
Okay.
one of them was going to be dream location for a future clinic.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, there's so many awesome places in the US, and we really do look for the scenario where we have a grass place where people can learn skills and then we can ride right to the trails. I've never coached in Park City, Utah, and I do think that they're building up their infrastructure and we have a lot of requests for that area. So we're looking at that, maybe St. George, but also I'm going to check out Reno. Reno has built a new bike park. We've
Yeah,
looked into Tahoe, but people also don't understand that permitting can be really hard. California
yes,
is a really hard place to purchase permits, and
it
it all
is.
costs money and it all comes with a set of requirements on our end. And so we're still looking for that perfect California venue, another Utah venue. I think we are going to try to go back to Moab. We've done Moab a few times, and that is a hot destination, and we love coaching there. So I love coaching tech. I love technical climbing. I love technical descending. When I see someone learn how to get up chunky tech, there is nothing like that. Those aha moments of like, I never thought I could ride this kind of stuff. You can. You just got to learn
Yeah.
how.
Yeah, that's me. That's me. But
You got
let's
it.
do some fun rapid
Okay.
fires then.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
Clipless or flats?
Ooh, I rode clipless for 20 something years because I started as a racer and then I did something to my knee and I had to move to flats. And I was a very pissed off person for a year. I was flats. I don't like these flying off my pedals. My knee was coming up into my face. I just did not understand it. I was angry. I hated flats. I even get people
Yeah.
online saying you would make that if you were clipped in. And now I am a full flat pedal convert.
I
I
love
am
that.
flats all the time. I will not go back. And this is coming from someone that rode 20 plus years clipped in. So if you want to
Wow.
argue with me online that I am going to get that technical section clipped in, you watch my video all the way through. I end up getting it because I've learned how. I love flats. I'm more comfortable on flats. I'm flats
Love
for
that.
life.
I love that so much. Okay. Chamois or no chamois?
Ooh, I'm kind of a no chamois girl. We've got these Brandwin
Same.
wool underwear. Wool, baby, wool. I'm telling you,
What?
the parts like the wool blend. Yep,
All
check them
right.
out. Brandwin, they're great. But yeah, I'm more of an
Okay.
underwear person these days, and I'm not sure if it's because I've been riding 30 years and I have calluses or what, but I don't find that I need a chamois that often. Occasionally, I'll
I
throw the
think
chamois on.
for me, it's because I just have a really great saddle. So I don't ride with
Yep,
chamois on anymore either.
I think a
Unless
great
I'm doing like a
saddle's a big
long,
deal.
like I'm on the trainer or something like that
What's your
for
saddle?
hours. I
Yeah,
have a Specialized Mimic Comp, I think it's what it's called. It's
okay,
got like the 3D thingy on it,
for
but
sure. Okay,
but you
Liv's
know
coming
what?
out with a new saddle.
I know I can't wait to see that. I heard about that. I just put a Terry one on my gravel bike and I've loved that so far too with no chamois. So,
Awesome. But I hear you. The indoor trainer, I will admit, I'll do a chamois on the indoor trainer just because on a mountain bike, you're kind of standing and sitting, and
yes.
on the trainer, you're just like, grrr. So I'll put a chamois on when I ride the indoor trainer 3 times a year.
Yeah. Two must-have things that are always in your coaching pack.
Oh, always in my a tool, multi-tool has to be in there. Crank Brothers has
Mhm.
great multi-tools that have a lot of setting, a lot of things on them. Man, I mean, snacks. I gotta have snacks. But I also coach, so I got to have a medical kit because, so I got to,
We'll let three. Three
okay,
things
I got to
then.
have a tool, a medical kit, and snacks. Gotta have snacks.
All
Yeah.
right, well that leads to my last one. What's your go-to snack?
Wow. Well, we have Kate's Real Food Bars as our supporter. And the funny
Ooh.
thing about that is we had a bar sponsor previously. They got bought by Laird, and I don't know what happened there. And I would go to the store on my trips and I would purchase Kate's for my plain snacks because they tasted so good. And when
Oh
you
wow.
eat the same bar a lot, sometimes you get sick of it. So you want to mix it up. And I have
Yep.
been purchasing Kate's Real Food Bars. And one day, Kate herself saw my van in the Moab Slick Rock parking lot and walked over and was like, "Oh, what do you do?" Because my van is Ladies AllRide on it. And I told her, and she's like, "That sounds like a great match for us." So, like 10 years later, we hit up Kate's and they were super excited to support us. And I have to admit, I love them. They are the best bars. And that's my go to snack now. And I can eat like
Nice.
5 of them. They're so
I
good.
love it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
bring one for me at Sea Otter so I could try it. I'd love to try it.
Okay. For sure. Yeah. I got a van full of them.
Last thing, where can people connect with you if they have questions about your camps or retreats? Do you prefer email, DM, website? How can folks reach out?
DM on social media is fine. However, I don't see the DMs as quickly as an email. So info@ladiesallride.com is where all of our questions and stuff get filtered into. We have a teammate named Allie who manages that email. But if it's a direct question for me personally, you just say, "Hey, this is for Lindsey," and Allie will forward it to me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. I
Yeah.
love chatting with you again, Lindsey. This is so
Thank you.
great. And if you guys are listening, there's still some spots left for a couple of Lindsey's camps. I think the retreats are filled out though. Bummer for
Well, the
me.
Switzerland one filled up in 24 hours.
Dang. All right.
We opened it last October and we're like, it's full. Okay.
Well, next year I'm gonna have to set a calendar reminder. I guess this year when you open it, I'm gonna set a calendar reminder to just be on there and
Totally. Yeah, dude. Yeah. We'll get you
Thank you
there.
so much, Lindsey.
Thanks for having
Happy
me.
to have you. I'm stoked to see the clinics you have next week at Sea Otter. We're going to do a little highlight on that as well. So it's going to be great. Can't wait to hang out with you then.
Can't wait to hang out in person. Yes, let's do it. Thank you so much for having me again. Thanks, everyone.
Have a great weekend.
All right, you too, dude. See ya.